Thank you very much. Thanks to the ESPID for honoring me basically with this wonderful award. And I'm really happy to stand here in front of you and just give you a little bit of insights into my research of the past years. This is my disclosure. And I really want you to basically look at infectious disease diagnostics as a process that involves two sides, if you will. So we're going to first focus on the pathogen side. So in terms of improving pathogen diagnostics, especially given the numerous multiplex PCR panels that became available during the past years and decade really, we were interested in the diagnostic value of these panels, especially in children with respiratory tract infections. And although these tests turned out very fast and quite accurate for gram-negative organisms, they tend to perform poorly in gram-positive organisms like Staph aureus, and this is a recurring issue actually. Taking this a step further, we were interested in whole genome sequencing to get more granularity when it comes to pathogen detection, especially in infectious disease outbreak settings. So in several ICU settings, intensive care unit settings with infections, we employed WGS as a tool to identify outbreak clones, or even to exclude the presence of a clone, and thereby to inform and design specifically antimicrobial stewardship measures to intervene, especially when infection prevention and control measures would not suffice to contain the spread of an outbreak. Finally, this is a project we've been doing in collaboration with the European Committee for Antimicrobial Susceptibility Testing, the EUCAST, and with the kind support of the ESPID board, basically trying to set up antimicrobial dosage recommendations, accounting for the differential exposure that you need when a pathogen is reported to be S, susceptible with normal dose, or I, susceptible with increased exposure. So we looked at existing national recommendations just to see that they kind of vary quite widely. We started a survey among ESPID members to see how that corresponds to our daily practice, and analyses are still ongoing, and this is basically just still work in progress. So I'm moving on to the host now and how the host responds and how we can leverage that. And one of the most intriguing questions actually to me and to many is the question if a marker can basically distinguish a bacterial from a viral infection reliably enough for us to be of use in terms of antibiotic use. And we did this prospective large study involving more than 1,000 children, testing the performance of a trail IP10 CRP-based biomarker in distinguishing bacterial from viral infections, showing a high sensitivity and specificity, a very high negative predictive value, which outperforms existing markers, which is irrespective of viral co-detection and has the potential to decrease antibiotic overuse. Related to this, we are interested in refining the expert panel approach, which is basically a way to build a reference standard in these kind of studies. Previously, it had been shown that an expert panel, including 3 blinded experts, is highly reproducible to get to a standard, a reference standard. And we also showed that modifications of such an expert panel, for example, blinding experts for CRP values or procalcitonin, also leads to more or less comparable results. To add another layer to this, we performed in a multinational point prevalence study in pediatric oncology, assessing appropriateness of therapy, a second education step where we deblinded experts and basically asked them to come to a consensus. Finally, we wanted to look at pathogen and host response at the same time. This is a project that was kindly supported by the small grant award by the ESPID, and we looked at the complementary role of viral load in children with respiratory tract infections and a virus detection. And we could show that viral loads are significantly higher in children that have a reference standard viral diagnosis than children with a bacterial diagnosis. We also showed that viral loads correlate quite nicely with trail levels, which is virally induced protein. And we showed that low trail and high viral loads are predictive of longer oxygen therapy. So in the future, we are aiming to prospectively evaluate these markers in conjunction with pathogen testing for clinically relevant outcomes like antibiotic use, hospitalization, and length of stay, and thereby to improve patient care. I want to conclude with thanking all of my mentors and collaborators Especially I want to thank my family and my wife because she supported me so much during the past years, so this one is for her actually. I want to thank the ESPID in particular, but also the other entities that were kind enough to support our work. And thank you very much.